What's going on, guys? I'm Ben Bateman.
And I'm Andrew Ghai.
And we are here from Action Industries to talk to you guys about a subject we have a tremendous amount of passion for. That is the top 5 Oscar bromances of all time.
Maybe you recognize how much Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has been revered by the general audiences, and that's what has inspired this segment. Let's hop into number 5 right now.
We are going to start with the 5th one, and that is
The King's Speech. The thing about The King's Speech that's so great is you have two of arguably the greatest Shakespearean actors of all time, two of the greatest British actors of all time, but it's the juxtaposition of power here. You have a king that cannot finish a sentence, and then someone that is essentially a peasant that is telling him what to do.
I mean, he lets him call him Gertie. You know, it's like it's fantastic. It's funny. It's heartfelt. It's emotional. And these are not guys that I would classically think of as bros or having a bromance. But at the end of the day, he's letting a peasant talk to him that way. He's a king, and that's why this is the number 5 Oscar bromance of all time for me.
I thought this movie was gonna be terrible.
Yeah,
I really did.
I didn't see it for years.
But the two of them together on screen, there's something that's so incredibly engaging about it. And honestly, I've never wanted one person to say one sentence more in my entire life. Maybe you don't think it should have won Best Picture, but it definitely belongs on this list.
Now, the next movie we have at number 4 is a movie that you have at least once or twice told me might be your favorite film of all time.
Hands down, without a doubt. It has one of my favorite actors of all time in it as well.
It is Good Will Hunting. I mean, you guys are thinking we're talking about the wrong bromance here, though. You're thinking Ben Affleck and Matt Damon because they've got the Oscars thing, they're on stage. It's actually the father-son-ish relationship that really does start as more of a bromance.
It does. I mean, how do you like them apples? We're talking about Robin Williams and Matt Damon. I mean, one of the best things about this is the evolution of this relationship, and there's so much anger in both of them, but really, Robin Williams' anger is that of an old man that kind of understands what's happened in his life. He's not outwardly, visibly angry. He's just kind of upset with the world. Where you look at Matt Damon, he's got that young, passionate, heated, on the surface rage that Robin Williams is very, very familiar with.
Well, and also, you have to remember with the bromance, because there is the father-son element to this, it's about mutual respect. See, if it felt like the whole time Robin Williams was just teaching Matt Damon, he wasn't learning anything from him, but I don't think you could call it bromance.
Yeah.
But there are moments like sitting on the bench where he's like, my wife would fart in her sleep and wake me up, like all those things. Those are the moments where you're like, these guys are bonding and they truly have respect for one another. That's what makes it a bromance, and that's why it's our number 4.
Yeah, and who can't forget about the scene, the hug and the cry, come on. That's one of the best scenes in movie history.
Ever, all time. I'm gonna talk to you guys about the next one. This is one that you and I have talked about at length, and some people don't even remember this, like 2 Oscar nominations for this.
Yeah.
It's Jules and Vincent in Pulp Fiction.
I totally forgot that these guys were both nominated for these roles. They're not the leads of the movie, but they carry so much weight, and honestly, arguably the most iconic moment in Sam Jackson's career happens in the first few minutes of the movie.
I think it's honestly a weird thing too, where Sam Jackson got the nom for lead and Travolta got the supporting nomination. But it feels like they're in the movie almost the same amount of time. I guess they campaigned differently. Whatever it is, all of their stuff is they're driving around talking about his experience in Paris, and they're getting ready to take on these guys. And even the stuff afterwards where they're cleaning up the mess after the car, and they're in the bar, and their shirts, and the restaurant at the end. These guys feel like the best of friends.
Oh, and in the beginning, if you're gonna go kill people, what do? You talk about cheeseburgers with your best buddy, right?
Royale with cheese. Royale with cheese.
The best part about that is that they're not focusing on what's about to happen and how intense it's gonna be. They're 2 dudes just hanging out, having a good time. They just happen to be hitmen. So I love that we put this on the list. I would have never put it on there if it wasn't for you.
I honestly, if I was going through the list, then I was like, is it this or the Deer Hunter? Just kidding. That's a real thing. Number 2, we're gonna roll with number 2 is Dallas Buyers Club. Once again, not just 2 nominations, but 2 wins. I mean, this is prime reconnaissance material. This is the moment that the whole world said, you know what? Jared Leto won. He just won at life.
That is the best way to put it, because I think we all kind of made fun of Jared Leto for a while with, are you a rock star? Are you an actor? What are you trying to do? And he's like, oh, by the way, I'm just gonna become one of the biggest recording artists in the world and win an Oscar. No big deal. I'm just king of entertainment now.
I mean, and there are so many moments in this movie that really just that prove the bromance. But for me, the one that I love so much is where Jared Leto goes to bat. He goes to talk to his dad. He asks for help, and when he gives it to McConaughey and he gives him the big hug, I cry. It's so good. It's such a good bromance. They love each other so much, but they hate each other when it starts.
Well, I think that's one of the things that you need to recognize in all the bromances that we've talked about so far is there is this huge disconnect in the beginning, and that's what we love to see is the evolution of characters. And honestly, if you look at McConaughey's character at the beginning of the movie and the relationship that he has at the end of the movie with Leto's, it is absolutely inspired. It's so amazing.
I mean, mutual respect. We talked about that. That's what you have to earn it from one another to have the true romance, which they do in the end. And now we're going to talk about the greatest bromance of all time in the history of the Oscars. This is a movie that many people have just called the greatest movie ever made.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be Andy Dufresne and Red. We've got The Shawshank Redemption.
You either get busy living or you get busy dying. Who does not remember them sitting there in the courtyard when it seems like Andy Dufresne has just given up on life, and you can see the heartbreak in Red's eyes. You can see that he's giving up, and the friendship. I mean, I don't know if there's a movie that really epitomizes friendship in a horrible position better than this movie. Have you ever wanted two characters to win more in your whole life?
Oh, of course not. I mean, there's so many things in this movie that, you know, even the warden says it. You two are thick as thieves.
Thick as thieves,
they're the
you
best.
are.
They're the best of friends. You know, he's like, can you do something for me, Red? Anything, Andy. You know, just like, oh my God.
And they're such good friends. You knew that the warden knew that, so he actually couldn't tell him. That's the most heartbreaking thing in the whole movie, is that he doesn't tell Red, but you know that Red's happy for him. He's happy that he got out.
But he's also heartbroken. So that's gonna wrap up our top 5 Oscar bromances of all time. Hot take. I think the greatest bromance of all time in the history of the Oscars is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Rick Dalton, Cliff Booth. I love it. I love it. I love it. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, guys, that's gonna wrap up our collective Action Industries top 5 Oscar romances of all time. If you guys want more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Keep checking out stuff here on Popcorn Talk. And of course, you can check out ours as well at Action Industries on YouTube. Go there, subscribe, notify. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.